Everyone optimized the pixel. Almost nobody asked what was sitting below it. Sony makes more than half the image sensors in the world's smartphones, and the decision that put them there had almost nothing to do with cameras. It was a decision about where to put a wire. In August 2012, Sony announced what it called the world's first stacked image sensor. Coverage treated it as a camera upgrade. Better low light, faster capture, the usual list. Strip the marketing language, and one move is left. They took the circuits out from beside the pixels and put them below. Same silicon, same physics, different floor plan. Three things follow from it: the seam, the cost, and the tell. Sony's own description says the pixel section, the light collecting part, sits on top of a chip carrying the signal processing circuits, in place of the supporting substrate. Read it twice. A slab whose only job was structural dead weight became the slab doing the work. The detail the coverage missed is the geometry. When circuitry sat beside the pixels, every square micron of signal processing competed with light collection for the same flat area. One budget, two tenants. There it is, the seam. Not a performance seam, but a geometry seam. Every camera improvement had to be bought from a fixed surface. Sony stopped negotiating over that surface and added a second floor. And once you stop paying that tax, the two layers stop being one compromise. Build the light collecting layer on a process tuned for light, and the logic layer on a process tuned for logic. Welded together for decades, not because anyone chose it, but because nobody had separated them. Call it position beats polish. Now the honest part. What does this cost? Stacking means bonding two wafers with millions of connections, and both have to be good. If either one fails, you throw away both. So the scaling reality isn't the physics, it's the yield math. Two probabilities multiplied, not one. That is the unglamorous constraint under a decade of camera marketing. A manufacturing bet, not a camera one. And that math decides who can even play. A yield bet only pays back at volume. You need the units to absorb the pairs you scrap, which is why this stayed a wager a handful of manufacturers could afford to fund. The tell that it worked, they did it again. In December 2021, Sony announced technology splitting the photodiode and the pixel transistors onto separate layers. The same move, one level down. When a company repeats a structural decision at a smaller scale, that is not a product cycle. That's a confirmed thesis. You are not fabricating silicon. But the phone in your pocket, the car that reads lane markings, the checkout that recognizes produce, all inherited this decision. Which leaves the strange part. The most valuable decision Sony made was a decision to stop improving the thing everyone was improving, the pixel itself. They won by refusing to run the race everyone else was running. The diagnostic is portable. Find the layer in your own system where two functions share one budget because nobody ever separated them. One database serving writes and analytics, one service owning auth and sessions. Ask whether they're welded by physics or only by history. If it's history, that's your stacked sensor. And that is the layer. The headline is a camera company that got better at cameras. The layer nobody photographed was the question of who owned the vertical, invisible precisely because it was never a feature.